Welcome back to our channel. Are you holding on to pocket change worth thousands or even millions of dollars? Today, we're counting down the top 3 most valuable 5-cent Jefferson nickels that have stunned collectors and sold for incredible amounts of money. From ultra-rare mint errors to historic low-mintage coins, these nickels could be hiding in old jars, piggy banks, or even your everyday pocket change right now. We'll reveal the dates, mint marks, and hidden details you need to look for before spending another nickel. One tiny mistake on these coins could turn 5 cents into a fortune overnight. So stay tuned until the very end, because the number 1 Jefferson nickel on this list could completely change the way you look at your spare change forever. Coin number 1 on our list is the fascinating 1976 D. Jefferson nickel, a coin that millions of Americans have seen, spent, and ignored for decades without realizing that some rare examples are now worth serious money. While most people think of nickels as ordinary pocket change, collectors know that certain 1976 D. Jefferson nickels can be incredibly valuable because of their condition, minting quality, and rare air varieties. The D Mint mark means this coin was struck at the Denver Mint during one of the most patriotic periods in modern American history, the United States bicentennial celebration. During the mid-1970s, the country was celebrating 200 years of independence, and coin production was extremely important because demand for circulating currency remained high across the nation. Even though special bicentennial quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins were released, the Jefferson nickel continued its regular design featuring Thomas Jefferson on the front and Monticello on the back. At first glance, the 1976 D. Jefferson nickel looks completely normal. Thomas Jefferson's portrait appears on the obverse side, while Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate, is displayed on the reverse. But hidden among millions of ordinary coins are a few extraordinary examples that collectors constantly search for today. One reason the 1976 D nickel attracts attention is because high-grade examples are surprisingly difficult to find. Although millions were produced, most entered circulation immediately and suffered scratches, wear, and damage from everyday use. Finding one with sharp details, brilliant mint luster, and nearly flawless surfaces is much harder than many people think. Professional grading companies examine these coins carefully using the mint state grading scale. A typical circulated 1976 D nickel may only be worth face value, but a pristine, uncirculated example can be worth significantly more. Coins graded MS65, MS66, or even higher become increasingly rare and valuable because very few survived in perfect condition. But condition alone is not the only thing collectors search for. The real excitement begins when rare mint errors enter the picture. Error coins are mistakes made during the minting process, and collectors love them because every error creates something unique. One of the most famous errors found on Jefferson nickels is the double die error. This happens when the design is accidentally impressed twice onto the die at slightly different angles. As a result, letters, numbers, or design elements appear doubled under magnification. On a 1976 D nickel, collectors carefully inspect the date, lettering, and Jefferson's features looking for signs of doubling. Another valuable error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank coin planchet is not positioned correctly inside the minting press. Part of the design may be missing while another section appears stretched or incomplete. Depending on how dramatic the error is, these nickels can become extremely valuable. Collectors also search for clipped planchet errors. A clipped planchet occurs when the metal blank is improperly cut before striking. The coin may appear to have a curved section missing from its edge. Even though it looks damaged, this type of mint error can increase value significantly. Die cracks are another important feature to watch for. Over time, minting dies develop stress fractures because of the enormous pressure used to strike coins. These cracks can leave raised lines across the coin surface. Some collectors specifically search for dramatic die crack examples because they create unique appearances. But perhaps the most famous feature associated with Jefferson nickels is the full steps designation. This detail alone can completely transform the value of a 1976 D. Jefferson nickel. If you look closely at the reverse side of the coin, you will see Monticello with steps leading to the building entrance. On most nickels, these steps appear weak or incomplete because of striking pressure issues during production. However, on rare examples, all the steps appear sharp and fully separated. These are called full steps nickels. Full steps nickels are extremely popular because they represent superior strike quality. Collectors are willing to pay huge premiums for coins with complete step visibility. A regular 1976 D nickel may only be worth a few cents, but a high-grade full steps example can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. Some collectors spend years searching through bankrolls and coin collections, hoping to find a full steps 1976 D nickel hiding in circulation. The thrill of discovering one keeps many coin hunters constantly searching through old change. Another reason this coin attracts attention is because the Denver Mint produced nickels with varying strike quality during the 1970s. Some coins were sharply struck, while others appear soft and weak. This inconsistency means truly exceptional examples stand out dramatically from ordinary circulation pieces. Many collectors also examine these nickels under magnification, searching for repunched mint marks or unusual die varieties. Although rare, small differences in the minting process can create collectible varieties that attract strong demand in the coin market. The metal composition of a 1976 D. Jefferson nickel is another interesting detail. The coin consists primarily of copper and nickel, giving it its familiar silver appearance. Unlike wartime nickels made during World War II, these coins do not contain silver. However, collectors still value them because of condition rarity and error possibilities. One fascinating aspect of coin collecting is how ordinary objects can become valuable over time. In 1976, people used these nickels every day to buy snacks, drinks, newspapers, and countless everyday items. Few individuals imagined that decades later collectors would carefully study these same coins under bright lights, searching for tiny details worth huge amounts of money. Auction prices for rare 1976 D. Jefferson nickels can be shocking. Exceptional full steps examples in top mint state grades have sold for thousands of dollars. Error coins with dramatic striking mistakes can also command impressive premiums depending on uniqueness and demand. Some collectors build entire collections focused only on Jefferson nickels. They search for every date, mint, mark, and variety from the series beginning in 1938 all the way to modern issues. Within these collections, high-grade 1976 D nickels with full steps are considered important modern rarities. One reason collectors enjoy Jefferson nickels is because valuable discoveries are still possible in circulation. Unlike extremely rare gold coins locked away in museums or wealthy collections, Jefferson nickels remain accessible to ordinary people. Anyone can search pocket change, old jars, or bankrolls looking for hidden treasures. Coin roll hunting has become increasingly popular online. Collectors buy boxes of nickels from banks and carefully inspect each coin hoping to discover valuable dates, errors, or full steps examples. The 1976 D nickel frequently appears in these searches because so many were produced and circulated nationwide. Lighting plays a major role when examining coins. Under proper lighting, luster and surface quality become easier to evaluate. Collectors often tilt coins slowly under bright light, looking for scratches, wear, or unusual features. A coin with original mint luster can appear almost glowing compared to worn circulation examples. Storage is also extremely important. Valuable nickels should never be cleaned because cleaning can damage surfaces and reduce collector value dramatically. Even gentle polishing can leave microscopic scratches that grading companies easily detect. Serious collectors prefer coins with completely original surfaces. Many beginners make the mistake of cleaning old coins hoping to improve appearance, but experienced collectors know originality matters most. A naturally toned or slightly worn coin often carries more value than a cleaned example with damaged surfaces. Another important factor is population rarity. Even though millions of 1976 D nickels exist, very few survive in elite mint state grades with full steps. This combination of condition rarity and collector demand creates strong market values. Some collectors believe modern coins cannot become valuable because they were produced in large numbers, but the 1976 Jefferson nickel proves otherwise. Quality matters far more than simple mintage totals. A common coin in extraordinary condition can become surprisingly rare. Over the years, coin collecting has grown through online communities, auction platforms, and social media videos showing valuable discoveries. Stories of rare nickels selling for huge amounts inspire new collectors to begin searching their own change. Imagine finding a rare Full Steps 1976 D nickel in an old family coin jar. What appears to be an ordinary 5-cent coin could actually be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on condition and rarity. That possibility is exactly why collectors remain fascinated with Jefferson Nickels today. When examining your own coins, start by checking the mint mark beside Jefferson's portrait. If you see the D mint mark and the date 1976, look closely at the reverse steps of Monticello. Use magnification if possible, and inspect the surfaces carefully for unusual errors or exceptional detail. Keep in mind that not every 1976 D nickel is valuable. Most circulated examples remain common. However, the rare high-grade and error examples are the ones collectors compete fiercely to own. As demand for rare modern coins continues increasing, interest in Jefferson nickels has grown significantly. Auction houses regularly feature top-quality nickels that attract strong bidding from advanced collectors across the country. The 1976 D. Jefferson nickel reminds us that hidden treasures can exist in the most ordinary places. Something as small and simple as a 5-cent coin may carry surprising historical importance and collector value decades later. And remember, this is only coin number 1 on our list of the most valuable Jefferson nickels. The next coin becomes even rarer, more mysterious, and potentially far more valuable than anyone could imagine. So stay tuned, because the next Jefferson nickel might completely change everything you thought you knew about pocket change. Coin number 2 on our list is the incredible 1983 D Jefferson nickel, a coin that many people still overlook in their everyday pocket change. Yet, certain rare examples have become highly desirable among collectors and can sell for astonishing amounts of money. At first glance, this nickel may appear completely ordinary, but hidden within the millions produced by the Denver Mint are rare varieties, valuable mint state examples, and fascinating mint errors that have made the 1983 D Jefferson nickel one of the most searched for modern nickels in circulation. The D mint mark located near Jefferson's portrait tells us this coin was struck at the Denver Mint in 1983. During the early 1980s, the United States Mint was producing enormous numbers of coins to meet circulation demands across the country. Millions of nickels entered cash registers, vending machines, piggy banks, and pockets every single day. Because of this massive production, most people assumed these nickels would never become valuable. But decades later, collectors discovered that some 1983 D Jefferson nickels are surprisingly rare in top condition. One of the biggest reasons this coin attracts attention today is because high-grade examples are extremely difficult to locate. Even though millions were minted, most immediately entered heavy circulation and developed scratches, dents, weak details, and worn surfaces. Finding one with sharp strike quality, glowing original luster, and nearly flawless surfaces has become much harder than people realize. When collectors search for valuable 1983 D nickels, the first thing they examine is condition. Professional grading companies use the mint state scale to evaluate coins. A heavily circulated nickel might only be worth 5 cents, but an uncirculated coin graded MS65, MS66, or higher can become dramatically more valuable. The higher the grade climbs, the rarer the coin becomes. Tiny marks, invisible to the naked eye, can separate an ordinary coin from an elite collector specimen worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. This is why experienced collectors inspect coins carefully under magnification and bright lighting. Another fascinating part of the 1983 D Jefferson nickel story involves strike quality. During production, not all coins were struck equally. Some received sharp, detailed impressions from fresh dies, while others appear soft or weak because worn dies were used during the minting process. Strongly struck examples are far more desirable because they display Jefferson's portrait and Monticello with greater clarity and definition. One feature collectors especially love on Jefferson Nickels is the famous full steps designation. On the reverse side of the coin, Monticello appears with steps leading to the entrance. On most circulated nickels, these steps appear blurred or incomplete because of weak strikes or wear over time. But on rare examples, all the steps remain sharp and fully separated. These full steps nickels are considered premium quality coins. A 1983 D. Jefferson nickel with full steps and a high mint state grade can command enormous collector premiums. Some examples have sold for impressive prices at auction simply because of their exceptional strike quality and rarity. Collectors spend years searching through rolls of nickels, hoping to discover a hidden full steps example. The excitement of finding one in circulation keeps many coin hunters constantly checking their change and visiting banks for unopened rolls. But condition and full steps are only part of the story. The real excitement begins when mint errors enter the picture. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin production process, creating unusual and collectible coins. One important error collectors search for is the double die variety. This happens when the design is accidentally impressed onto the die more than once at slightly different positions. The result is visible doubling on letters, numbers, or design features. On a 1983 D. Jefferson nickel, collectors closely inspect the date, lettering, and Jefferson's portrait, looking for signs of doubling. Off-center strikes are another dramatic mint error. These occur when the blank coin planchet is not positioned correctly inside the press during striking. The design may appear shifted, leaving part of the coin blank while another portion looks stretched or incomplete. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin may become. Clipped planchet errors are also highly collectible. Before coins are struck, circular blanks are punched from large sheets of metal. Occasionally, the cutting process overlaps incorrectly, creating blanks with curved sections missing. When these blanks are struck into coins, they produce unusual shapes collectors love to own. Die cracks represent another fascinating error variety. Over time, minting dies experience enormous pressure and eventually develop fractures. These cracks leave raised lines across the coin surface. Some dramatic die crack nickels become highly collectible because each crack pattern is unique. Another rare possibility involves struck-through errors. This happens when grease, debris, or foreign material gets trapped between the die and the coin during striking. The resulting coin may show missing details or strange impressions. Error collectors constantly search for these unusual varieties because no two examples are exactly alike. The history surrounding the 1983 D. Jefferson nickel also adds interest for collectors. During the early 1980s, the United States economy was changing rapidly. Inflation concerns, increasing metal prices, and modernization efforts at the U.S. Mint influenced coin production across the country. These nickels circulated during a fascinating era of American economic history. Unlike silver wartime nickels from the 1940s, the 1983 D nickel contains a copper-nickel composition. While it does not contain precious metals, collector demand focuses heavily on rarity, strike quality, errors, and condition. This proves that a coin does not need gold or silver content to become valuable. One reason coin collecting remains so exciting is because valuable discoveries still happen every day. People occasionally find rare Jefferson nickels hidden inside old family collections, forgotten piggy banks, estate sales, or bankrolls. Stories of ordinary individuals discovering valuable coins inspire millions of collectors around the world. Population reports published by grading companies reveal exactly how many coins exist in each grade. Sometimes only a handful of coins achieve the highest possible grades. When collector demand exceeds available supply, prices can rise dramatically. Storage and preservation also play major roles in determining value. Coins stored improperly often develop scratches, discoloration, or environmental damage over time. Serious collectors use protective holders, controlled environments, and careful handling methods to preserve coin quality. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is cleaning coins. Cleaning may seem helpful, but it almost always damages surfaces and reduces value. Professional grading companies can easily detect clean coins because microscopic scratches and unnatural shine remain visible under magnification. Original surfaces are extremely important in the coin market. Collectors prefer coins with untouched mint luster and natural aging rather than polished or altered appearances. Even lightly cleaned nickels can lose significant value compared to untouched examples. The design of the Jefferson nickel itself has remained iconic for decades. Introduced in 1938, the series replaced the Buffalo nickel and featured Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers. The reverse side displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic estate in Virginia. Over the years, subtle design changes occurred within the series, creating additional varieties collectors search for today. Each decade of Jefferson Nickels tells part of America's history through changing minting techniques and circulation patterns. For the 1983 D issue specifically, sharp strikes with full steps remain the ultimate goal for many advanced collectors. These nickels combine modern accessibility with genuine rarity at elite quality levels. Imagine discovering a nearly flawless 1983 D Jefferson nickel hiding in a roll from the bank. To most people, it may appear ordinary, but to a knowledgeable collector, it could represent a rare and valuable treasure worth far more than 5 cents. The thrill of that possibility is exactly why coin collecting continues growing year after year. Every coin carries the chance of discovery, and every pocketful of change could contain something extraordinary. Many collectors remember the excitement of finding their first valuable coin. Sometimes it begins with a simple Jefferson nickel pulled from circulation. That single discovery often leads to a lifelong passion for numismatics and treasure hunting. Online marketplaces and auctions have also increased interest in modern coins. Collectors worldwide now compete for rare varieties and top-quality examples, pushing prices higher for exceptional pieces. Educational videos, coin forums, and social media communities have introduced younger generations to the hobby as well. More people than ever are learning how to identify mint errors, evaluate condition, and recognize valuable coins hiding in circulation. If you own any 1983 D Jefferson Nickels, now is the perfect time to examine them carefully. Check the mint mark, inspect the reverse steps on Monticello, and look closely for doubling die cracks, clipped planchets, or unusual striking errors. Use magnification and proper lighting whenever possible. Even though most examples remain common, the rare high-grade and error varieties can be worth substantial money. Sometimes the difference between an ordinary nickel and a valuable collector coin comes down to tiny details almost invisible without close inspection. The 1983 D Jefferson nickel proves that valuable treasures are not always ancient or made from precious metals. Sometimes an ordinary-looking 5-cent coin from the 1980s can become one of the most exciting discoveries in modern coin collecting. And believe it or not, coin number 2 is still not the rarest nickel on our list, because coming up next is an even more mysterious Jefferson nickel with incredible collector demand, fascinating history, and the potential to be worth a life-changing amount of money. So stay tuned, because coin number 3 might completely transform the way you look at your pocket change forever. Coin number 3 on our list is the mysterious and highly collectible 1980 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark, a coin that many Americans have carried in their pockets without ever realizing some rare examples could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars today. At first glance, the 1980 P Jefferson nickel may seem ordinary, but hidden among the millions produced by the Philadelphia Mint are rare high-grade specimens, valuable mint errors, and hard-to-find full-steps examples that collectors constantly search for. The year 1980 marked an important time in United States coin production. America was entering a new decade filled with economic changes, rising inflation, and increasing interest in coin collecting. During this period, the United States Mint was producing enormous numbers of coins for circulation, and the Jefferson nickel remained one of the most widely used coins in everyday commerce. One especially important detail about this coin is the P mint mark. Before 1980, Philadelphia nickels traditionally carried no mint mark at all. But beginning in 1980, the Philadelphia Mint officially started placing the P mint mark on Jefferson nickels. This small letter completely changed the appearance of the series and made the 1980 P nickel historically significant because it was the first regular issue Jefferson nickel to feature a P mint mark. That tiny mint mark may seem unimportant to most people, but collectors immediately recognized its historical importance. Because of this, the 1980 P Jefferson nickel became a major part of modern coin collecting and remains highly popular today. Millions of these nickels entered circulation during the 1980s. They passed through grocery stores, vending machines, gas stations, restaurants, and cash registers across the country. Most became worn from everyday use, developing scratches, dull surfaces, and damaged details over time. This is exactly why finding pristine examples today is much more difficult than many people realize. Collectors first examine the overall condition of a 1980 P. Jefferson nickel. Professional grading companies evaluate coins using the mint state grading system. Circulated coins with visible where may only be worth face value, but sharply preserved, uncirculated examples can become dramatically more valuable. At the highest grade levels, population rarity becomes extremely important. Even though millions were minted, only a tiny number survive in elite condition with flawless surfaces and strong strike quality. Coins graded MS66, MS67, or higher are exceptionally difficult to locate and often command huge premiums at auction. One of the biggest reasons collectors love this coin is the challenge of finding full steps examples. On the reverse side of every Jefferson nickel is Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's historic estate in Virginia. Beneath the building are several small steps leading to the entrance. On most nickels, these steps appear weak, incomplete, or blurred because of strike softness and circulation wear. However, on rare examples, all the steps remain fully visible and clearly separated. These are known as full steps nickels. The full steps designation is one of the most important factors affecting Jefferson nickel value. Collectors are willing to pay enormous premiums for coins with complete step visibility because such examples are extremely difficult to find. A regular circulated 1980 P nickel may only be worth 5 cents, but a high-grade full steps example can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. Some elite examples have shocked collectors at auction with surprisingly high sale prices. Many coin hunters spend years searching through rolls of nickels, hoping to discover a hidden full-step specimen. The thrill of finding one in circulation keeps countless collectors constantly checking their change. But condition and full steps are only the beginning of the story. The real excitement begins when rare mint errors enter the picture. Mint errors happen when mistakes occur during the coin production process. These mistakes create unusual coins that collectors love because each error is unique. Some 1980 P. Jefferson nickels feature fascinating minting errors that can dramatically increase their value. One important error collectors search for is the double die variety. This occurs when the die receives multiple impressions at slightly different positions during production. The result is visible doubling on letters, numbers, or design details. Collectors carefully inspect the word Liberty, the date 1980, Jefferson's portrait, and other design elements looking for signs of doubling. Strong double die examples can become extremely valuable because of collector demand. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not properly aligned inside the coining press. Part of the design may appear missing while another section looks stretched or incomplete. Dramatic off-center errors often command impressive prices because they are visually striking and easy to identify. Clipped planchet errors are also highly collectible. Before striking occurs, blank coin discs are punched from large sheets of metal. Occasionally, the punching process overlaps incorrectly, creating blanks with curved sections missing. When struck into coins, these blanks create unusual shapes collectors love. Die cracks are another important variety. Minting dies experience enormous pressure during coin production and sometimes develop fractures. These fractures create raised lines across the coin surface. Some die cracks become dramatic enough to create highly collectible varieties. Collectors also search for struck-through errors. This happens when grease, debris, or foreign material gets trapped between the die and the coin during striking. The resulting coin may show missing details or unusual impressions that make it unique. The 1980 P. Jefferson nickel also represents an important transition period in American coin history. The introduction of the P Mint mark on nickels symbolized modernization efforts at the United States Mint. For decades, Philadelphia coins often carried no mint mark, but the addition of the P created a major design change collectors immediately noticed. Because this was the first year for the Philadelphia mint mark on nickels, many collectors saved examples from circulation. However, most saved coins still develop marks, scratches, or weak strikes. Truly pristine examples remain surprisingly rare today. Coin collecting became increasingly popular during the late 1970s and early 1980s. Rising silver prices, increased public interest in precious metals, and expanding coin publications introduced many Americans to the hobby. Jefferson Nickels became attractive because they were affordable and still widely available in circulation. One reason collectors enjoy Jefferson Nickels is the possibility of discovering valuable coins in everyday change. Unlike rare gold coins locked away in museums or expensive collections, Jefferson Nickels remain accessible to ordinary people. Coin roll hunting has exploded in popularity over the years. Collectors purchase boxes of nickels from banks and carefully examine each coin, searching for rare dates, mint errors, and full steps examples. The 1980 P nickel appears frequently in these searches because of its historical importance and collector demand. Some collectors focus entirely on modern nickels because they believe overlooked treasures still exist in circulation. While older coins often attract more attention, modern Jefferson nickels can also become surprisingly valuable when exceptional quality or rare errors are involved. Auction results for elite 1980 P. Jefferson Nickels have amazed many collectors. High-grade, full steps examples with beautiful luster and sharp strike quality can sell for enormous amounts because so few survive in top condition. Professional grading services publish population reports showing how many coins exist at each grade level. Sometimes only a handful of coins achieve the highest grades. When demand exceeds available supply, prices can rise dramatically. Luster is another important factor collectors examine closely. Original mint luster creates a glowing cartwheel effect when light reflects across the coin surface. Coins with strong, untouched luster are highly desirable because they indicate excellent preservation. Storage and handling play huge roles in maintaining value. Coins should always be handled carefully by the edges to avoid fingerprints and surface damage. Serious collectors store valuable coins in protective holders to preserve condition. One of the most common mistakes beginners make is cleaning coins. Cleaning may seem helpful, but it almost always reduces collector value. Professional grading companies can easily detect clean surfaces because microscopic scratches and unnatural shine become visible under magnification. Collectors prefer coins with original, untouched surfaces, even if slight toning or aging is present. Originality is often more important than brightness or artificial shine. The design of the Jefferson nickel itself has remained one of America's most recognizable coin designs since 1938. Thomas Jefferson appears on the obverse, while Monticello is featured on the reverse. Over decades of production, subtle design changes and minting differences created many collectible varieties. For the 1980 P issue specifically, the historical importance of the first Philadelphia mint mark adds special collector appeal. This tiny P represents a major turning point in the series. Imagine finding a rare full steps 1980 P. Jefferson nickel in a forgotten coin jar at home. To most people, may look ordinary, but to collectors it could represent a valuable modern rarity worth far more than 5 cents. Stories of valuable discoveries continue inspiring new generations of collectors. Some people discover rare nickels in inherited collections, estate sales, or even pocket change from everyday purchases. The possibility of hidden treasure keeps the hobby exciting. Online communities and social media have also increased interest in Jefferson Nickels. Videos showing valuable error coins and high-grade auction sales encourage more people to examine their change carefully. Educational resources now make it easier than ever to learn about grading, mint errors, and valuable varieties. Many collectors begin with simple pocket change searches before developing advanced collections over time. If you own any 1980 Jefferson Nickels, this is the perfect time to inspect them closely. Look carefully at the mint mark, examine the steps on Monticello, and search for unusual errors or exceptional strike quality. Use magnification and proper lighting whenever possible. Even though most examples remain common, rare full step specimens and dramatic mint errors can be worth substantial amounts of money. Sometimes tiny details invisible to casual observers make all the difference between an ordinary coin and a collector treasure. The 1980 Jefferson nickel proves that even modern pocket change can hold incredible surprises. What appears to be an ordinary 5-cent coin could actually be a hidden collectible worth hundreds or thousands of dollars under the right conditions. And with that, we've reached the end of our countdown of the top 3 most valuable Jefferson Nickels, from the 1976 D Jefferson nickel to the 1983 D nickel, and finally, the historic 1980 P issue. Each coin reminds us that valuable treasures can still be hiding in plain sight. So, the next time you receive change at a store or discover an old jar of coins at home, take a closer look before spending those nickels, because one small coin, one rare error, or one perfect full steps example could completely change the way you look at pocket change forever.